You're going to love this recording. They just made some changes on LinkedIn that you need to know about, and I've got the master of that to help us out on it, to know how you can use it in business, the amazing Phil Gerbyshak. And on Facebook, so we got a couple of recordings there for you on that. But Phil, tell us a little bit about, first of all, just kind of the big picture, 30,000 foot. What's going on with LinkedIn? And I hear they are really coming up with some major changes.
They sure are, Terry. So actually, starting last December, they started changing the interface. And as many might know, Microsoft bought them last year. So Microsoft paid $26 billion with a B dollars. That's
some serious money.
It is. Yeah. So naturally, they're going to make the platform different and try to monetize it in different ways. So starting in December, January, they started rolling out this new looking UI, which also has some new features and some new ways of doing business and some things that that people maybe don't like so much. Mostly it's a lot cosmetic, but there's also some feature functionality that's changed.
Yeah, and I think the features, we all say, okay, that's good if we can get it and see something that's going to be good and better. But also, when it's different, there is a little bit of, I don't like it. How do we do it when I try to do that? And I know that's created some frustration. One thing you have done very helpfully is people said, hey, I don't understand that on Facebook. They've seen that. For instance, our mutual friend, Mary Kelly. Hi, Mary. If you're watching this, hope you're doing well. And you said that you would help out. And I thought, well, hey, this would be a great idea. Phil, you help so many people in the coaching and the consulting work you do, that I thought, well, hey, I'm just going to tap into that genius brain power you got, and then using the technology of Blue Jean here on Facebook with Blue Jeans, we can use their program. I can have you on the screen, and we can also share screen. So Phil, could I get you, if you wouldn't mind, to share some of your screen with us today and bounce over there to LinkedIn, show us some of the changes that are going on, and particularly how we can use those in a business sense.
Sure. So the first thing you'll notice, I'm going to start with some cosmetic changes because I think that's the most noticeable thing. If you weren't a LinkedIn Power user before, you may be a little confused, but I promise there aren't a lot of massive changes that are going to affect you. If you're a Power user, it's probably going to affect you more. But the first thing you see is you see yourself right over here on the left side. So you'll see it says my name, and you'll see I'm a premium user. Doesn't say which version of premium, does have my picture that does link off to my entire profile. So that would be how people would see it from there. My name does as well. Then it's got my headline. Okay, so this is important. This is your headline. Really important because even if people are just scrolling your feed, you'll see that. They'll see yours if they click on yours. So then how many people have viewed your profile and how many people have viewed your post? So if we click on that, who's viewed your profile, for free users, you get the last 5 views. It used to be the last 24 hours, but now it's the last 5 views.
And there I am right there. You see that I did some checking and seeing your profile to say, hey, let's see how it's done right. And by the way, for those of you watching this, you want to know what to do? Check out Phil's profile, see what he's doing, how he's doing this, and you can get some ideas and go, hey, I can use that. Just don't do what some people do, copy and paste. Don't copy what he did into yours. That's not what we want you to do. No, you create your own stuff. Just use his as a model. Right, Phil?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great point. And feel free to use the strategies and the tools that I talk about. But like Terry said, use your own words and use what matters to you. And you'll notice Terry has those like pipes in between words. Those striate your things even more clearly so that people know exactly what the breaks are. So that's really important. It's even more powerful than a comma that's often overlooked. So again, you'll see, mine are down this week, probably because I didn't write an article yet this week. Where people look, I can tell you these people at Career Builder found me because I commented on somebody else who was mentioning that he didn't like the new interface very much, and he decided that he was going to put me on blast. So all of his coworkers saw me, for good or for bad. So 9 people who work at LinkedIn, 24 people have that, and 509 people found me via the LinkedIn homepage. Okay, that's great. But what's really changed here is, again, we only get 5 if we're free. So if you don't get a lot of profile views, that's probably not a big deal. Probably not a big deal at
Okay.
all, but most people do get more than 5 a day.
Okay. Well, Phil, let me
That
ask you
view
a
their
question because I
profile.
know a lot of people are wondering about this. I see you're using the premium. I'm not. I've been looking at it. It looks good. Just out of curiosity, what are you paying? Which plan are you in for the premium? How much is that costing?
Yeah, so right now I'm on Sales Navigator, and I've been told and have read that Sales Navigator will be the only premium sales platform. There also will be Recruiter, there will be Job Seeker Premium. Those are the top end of that. Those are the big 3 buckets of people that LinkedIn serves. For Sales Navigator, I'm currently paying $79.99 a month because I'm
Okay.
on the month-to-month plan. If
Which is
you
pretty close
pay
to $80 where I grew up out in the country.
It is, yep. So typically they offer about a 20 to 30% discount if you pay for the whole year at once. But if you pay for the whole year, then you don't get any of your money back. So for me, I have to test it out, see how it looks, and then I also need to. Sometimes I need to see how the free version looks as well. So I flip flop between month to month works for me. Many people have the opportunity to get a trial of LinkedIn. Some people I've seen get 30-day trials. Some people get a 90-day trial. Some with 2 months. But I do think that Sales Navigator is worth using if you are getting, if the value of what you sell is more than what you pay for a year's worth of LinkedIn. So at $80 a month times 12, $960 as a coach, a consultant, as a speaker, a trainer, whatever you want to put it. I do get more than that most of the time. So for me, that's a fair value
Okay, I
because
think that's a good
using
way
a
to put it.
tool.
You're looking at roughly $1,000 a year, and you say, okay, is it worth $1,000? So can you point to just? I mean, I don't know, need to know the specifics, but can you say, yeah, because of this base of business, this came in because I was on LinkedIn, it was worth the roughly $1,000 a year that you're spending. Has that happened in
Yeah,
your case?
absolutely. Yep. So I can't prove that LinkedIn gives you more prominence in the feed if you pay premium. So I can tell you that I have gotten some opportunities, some action that I've closed that have earned me more than that over the last year. I can also tell you that via Sales Navigator, I've been able to find out competitive information about people that I've used in sales calls that I wouldn't have had any other way.
Ah,
So
very good.
absolutely, I think it's completely worth it. The thing is, if you're just going to go for the former, which is hope that you show up better in search or in the feed, I would tell you don't waste your time then with Sales Navigator. It is an
Okay,
active product, meaning
excellent.
you have to search, you have to find people, you have to do the work still. It's not an accidental, oh, look at me, I just got a gig because I happen to have Navigator. That's not how this
Ah,
works.
very good point. All right. Well, let's see some of those new changes that are there that people have talked about favorably or unfavorably. What have you seen, and how do we use it in business?
Great question, Terry. So the biggest thing is the search. So now you'll notice first it remembers the last couple of people that I searched, and we can absolutely delete them. We don't have, and by delete them I mean delete from search. But then you click on search for people with filters, and it'll come back and it'll give us what formerly was the advanced search screen. Okay, but we do have to still structure a search. So if I want to look for everybody named Terry, I can put that in and I can just do a search. And you'll notice by default it is on people. People is the first thing that most people search for, other people. So I just hit enter to structure that. First is Terry Brock, and you'll notice this person isn't even named Terry, but they show up as well. They must have that in their profile. Other Terrys are listed as well, and these are first level. As we filter, though, we can say okay, well, I know all these first level people. And this is where the former advanced search kind of came into play. So if we click on just second level connections, those people that I'm not yet connected with, whose name is Terry, now we'll come
Mhm.
back with a different search. So now we'll see different people that we come back with. And again, the advanced search, we can pick a location. So maybe I'm going to Milwaukee, and I remember, I've got a friend named Terry that lives in Milwaukee, but I don't think I'm connected to him or her on LinkedIn. So now, second degree, greater Milwaukee area, narrows it down to 188 searches. Again, I can continue to pick things. If I remember where they work, I can narrow that down just by checking the boxes. Makes it very easy. And now it takes me right there to one person whose name is Terry that I'm connected to, and it shows me that one shared connection. Now, the thing
And by the way,
about
let me interrupt you here for a minute.
yeah,
I see it says connect. Does that mean you're not connected? And it's saying if you want to connect to this person, you click there, or that you already are connected to him?
great question, Terry. So, yes, I'm not connected to this person.
Okay.
So that's what it's there for. But you'll also note, because it says second up here and it says second over here, we know second degree connections are those that we are not yet connected to.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Okay. So, yep. So we could still send the generic connect. Okay. But I never recommend that. And this, in the new interface, to me, it makes it even more clear that we should actually look at their profile. We should see what they're about. And we should actually then make a legitimate connection request. So if we click on connect, you'll notice LinkedIn is even telling us, hey, don't send that boring generic connection request.
Thank you.
Actually add a note, which is new. It didn't used to do that. And people would say, well, geez, I wish LinkedIn would remind me that I need to actually put on a personal note, because I don't know, based on the field that I'm in, whether or not that connection request is just going to go out, or whether it's going to bring it up to, how do you know this person? So this is really, really helpful. Also, you'll notice it doesn't ask you how you know this person any longer, which means it's incumbent on you to write a little bit of a note to say,
that's good.
hey, yeah, I think so. And because really, here's what I would get before. Well, Phil, I'm looking through there. I didn't work with this person. We haven't done business together. We're not really friends yet. Which one do I pick? I want to be honest, but I don't want to be prompted for their email address. Well, now it's not prompting for the email address. So I think
here you have to be creative.
Change.
Yeah, you got to be a little more creative and just say, hi, Ralph, it was good to meet you at the Chamber of Commerce last Wednesday, or I noticed you're connected to Sally over here, et cetera, et cetera. You've got to be real. Here's a concept: be more human.
What do you know? Yeah, absolutely. One of my core tenets, Terry. Absolutely, being more human. So as we look, right, we look at the profile, and this is to me, this is so much easier than it's ever been before. First, I can immediately see who that mutual connection is. Then, yes, I can just pop that out and I can see more experience and see what that is. So we can see more or see less. We can see what featured skills or endorsements. You'll notice only the first 3 are displayed. So you want to make sure that you pick the first 3 so that they actually show up, that are relevant. Again, I'm going to use that R word a lot. Relevancy matters a lot.
Good.
Okay.
Very good point.
So we look at that. Then we look at accomplishments, certifications, following. Now, one other thing I want to show you is you'll notice on people's profiles, this is their contact information. Now, it never, unless you're first degree connected, never shows you their email address. So don't worry if you're connected to someone that it's going to show up and show how to email them directly. That's not the contact info. So if Terry and I are connected and he's got friends that he doesn't, he's like, I'm not sure if I want everybody in my network to be able to contact them, but I'd be happy to connect them if they ask me. Now we have an opportunity here, but we see that. Then we also see the people also viewed. Now, this is a forced thing here on the right side. This is no LinkedIn algorithm. This is people went and looked at this one person, and then they went and said, that person wasn't exactly the person that I wanted to see. So I looked for other people. So that's how
Hmm.
that works here. And that's very different than it was
Okay.
before, in the fact that it was much less prominent than it was there. And they would have, 3 or 4, and you'd have to click on the button to see the next person. It was a little bit more difficult, at least from what I've been told. It was harder. I got how to do it. Some didn't. That's okay. So, but this is how this comes up. And again, let's go back one screen. I'm just going to click the back button, and I'm going to show you. We're going to get back here to our search. We can then take that off. We can remove any of those filters so that we can actually get that information much more easy than we could before, and just one check at a time, restructuring that search so that we get what we want. I think that makes it a lot more helpful, a lot easier. Keep in mind, we search by people at first. If we're searching for companies by the name of Terry, we're going to click on that. So now we're going to see different companies that show. The other wonderful thing that we can do is now we can see posts. Whereas before we weren't really able to search posts, at least not purposefully. Now we do a search, and it looks like LinkedIn is smart enough to know that Terry with an I, maybe I don't know how to spell. So now it's got Terry with a Y. So that's
Hmm.
really, really helpful. And that's something that, before you had to have an exact match. If you called yourself Terrence instead of Terry, you would never come up like this. If you're Terry with one
Yeah.
R instead of two, you wouldn't come up. So I
Yeah.
think this is a pretty big deal.
I
This is
think
pretty
so. By the way,
helpful.
yeah, you mentioned something you're doing there. You're looking at my profile. I appreciate that. I think this is good for those of you watching this. Notice what's happening. This way, you can go and you can see information that the person has posted, things that are relevant to them. You get a chance to know them, and I think that's really good. Matter of fact, right now, since we're doing this on Facebook Live, we're talking about again LinkedIn on Facebook Live using Blue Jeans. Kind of all. Do we got social media and technology all over the place here? Phil, we're having some comments coming in. Let's see from Kate Holgate, who's telling love this new function to send invitations. That seemed like a good thing there. And also Julianne Sullivan saying you wanted to know about Sales Navigator. And I think you mentioned Sales Navigator before. If you can give us a quick, maybe 15-second recap on that of Sales Navigator for Julianne, who's watching right now.
Yeah, sure. So, well, let me just go to Sales Navigator. It is LinkedIn's premium sales tool.
Okay.
Okay. What that means is you get a whole lot more search than you get anywhere else. So instead of just a search or an advanced search, now they have what's called Lead Builder. Okay. So if I clicked on Lead Builder up here next to the search. It's where advanced search used to be. If we look at all these beautiful things that we have the opportunity now to search on, we can search on keywords, on companies, or Boolean, meaning we could search for medical, not medicine, not doctor, something like that,
Mm.
functions, postal code. Postal code is how we used to search now. LinkedIn's standard interface allows us to search based on the name of the city, which is why when you start typing in your city, I would actually encourage you to let it automatically pick the city, because that way it helps you with the postal code. Unless you do business in, a little town where people need to know exactly where you're located. But all of these things now, this is how Sales Navigator now structures this search. So
Ah, that's
as we
very
look,
nice. Yeah,
mhm.
Phil, let me ask you a question. Sometimes I find that I'm going to a city, and it's not just that city. Like, for instance, let's say I'm going to Detroit. I might go up to Detroit, and so I want to see people that are in Detroit. Hey, who could I contact? Because I'm going to be there in 2 weeks. I want to see if I can line up some meetings. Well, it's not just Detroit itself. Right there in the city of Detroit, it would be outlying suburbs or those that are nearby. Is there a way that we can say all those that are within X miles, 25, 50,
How
100
many
miles, or something
miles?
like that of this particular city?
Yes, sir, you can. So we take a look here. By default, it's
Oh,
10 miles. Then we have
nice.
25, 35, 50, 75, and 100. This did used to be a free feature. Now we're searching by the actual city. Again, most people that were using the free, they're looking for people that are really close. So
Hmm.
we look at 50 miles. And then, Terry, do you happen to know what the zip code of Detroit is? One of the zip codes?
I know the area code. It's 313 area code. Would
Okay.
that help?
Well, it it doesn't in this case. So let's pick Milwaukee because I happen to know a little about Milwaukee. So we'll pick there, right? We'll pick
Yeah,
that
and
zip code, and we're
what's
just going to search
the zip code up in the Milwaukee?
53202.
Right. And by the way, am I
Okay,
pronounced that right? I understand there's no L in Milwaukee. It's Milwaukee for those that
that would be
actually live
correct,
there.
sir.
And there, is that true, Phil?
That's right. Yes, it is, Jerry. So, yep. And you'll see right away before I do anything, it tells me exactly how many results I have. Again,
Nice.
this is really helpful because I don't know about you, Terry, but I can't scan through 833,000 results today. I
Yeah.
just frankly don't have time. So now, as we change that, right, this is saying, Phil, you did not pick a narrow enough search. So we want to keep going, right? So we want to say, maybe we want to say sales is a keyword in their profile. Right now, we've narrowed that down to 164,000. So maybe I want to look for Northwestern Mutual, right? And now, look at this. It's automatically populating for us. So I don't have to remember, is it Northwestern Mutual Life Insurance? Is it North Space Western? What is this?
Yeah.
So this is really, really helpful. So I can pick all of these things, which before I really had to know what I'm looking for. So again, here, and these are based on, this is another reason why individuals, even if you're a one-person shop, why you need a company name if people are ever going to remember it, because if they put in your name, unless you have a company name, it will not come up. So I want to
So
encourage
at
you.
least it would need to be not just Terry Brock, but my company name, Achievement Systems. I might want to
Right.
put that in there so that for some reason it's finding Achievement Systems, not just Terry Brock.
Correct. Yep. So
Okay.
that's there, right? Our job, look at these functions. I mean, this really allows you to narrow in and to understand who are you talking to.
Mm-hmm.
So again, as we narrow this down, we put Northwestern Mutual and Baird. We now have 40 results. Now I click on search, and now really, really clear as a list. So now I can take a look at this, and now I can really hone in on who I want to talk to, who I
Nice.
want to, So this makes lead generation so much easier
So
than
it seems like
anything else.
if I'm going back to my proverbial visit to Detroit, for instance, I would know maybe it might be good to find a zip code in Detroit. Just go look for the paper or some building or something we know is in Detroit. The zip code is 48000 or whatever it is. I know it's 48 something there. And so I can go, okay, now within X miles of that, 25, 50, 100 miles, because often what I'll do is I might send out a note to people and say, hey, I'm going to be in Detroit. Gina and I will go there, and we often do what we call an executive roundtable. And we just say, hey, everybody that knows us, we're going to get together at this restaurant and in a back room. And we get together, we talk about here's what's happening, exchange ideas. And I do that often as I'm traveling around the world, different places. Just say, I'm going to be in this city. We do that. And it's always a wonderful thing, exchanging ideas, sharing information that way.
Yep, absolutely, Terry. The other thing that's available here in Navigator is I can view people similar. So let's say Stacy was the perfect hit for me. Now I can set that up and I can do a similar search just by clicking on the three dots and selecting view similar. Now it's going through all of LinkedIn and it's doing a similar search for people like that based on those things. And here's what's helpful. Before it would just give us the results and we'd be like, oh crap, I wonder who is new at that company, because you know what, I've already fished out that company. I've already talked to all the people there. Now I can see 6 people who have changed jobs in the last 90 days. So now I can say, okay, well, these would be new people to talk to that I haven't already talked to that are related to that. Or 11 people. I wonder, I'd like to see what the heck they've shared on LinkedIn. So these are people who are active on LinkedIn. So now I see 11 of them. Or I can see, right, 11 people that share experiences with me. So 11 people that I automatically have a conversation starter with.
Nice.
Right?
At least you can pick up the phone or send them an email real quick and say, hi, how you doing? Or I'm going to be in Milwaukee in a couple of weeks, or whatever. You find a way to connect with people. I think what you're doing there, Phil, is you're taking the technology, you're taking the advanced technology of LinkedIn and all the horsepower there, and combining it with really good time-honored principles of connecting with people as a human being, relationship marketing, or as I often call it, R commerce. Not the e-commerce of all the electronics, but the R commerce of relationships. And you are blending that together.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the big thing. I mean, and people who maybe are not interested in LinkedIn because, oh, I don't even need more technology. Here's the thing. LinkedIn now makes it even easier to be more human with these people, to be able to see.
Nice.
I mean, even here, this related leads. Imagine if Joe was an actual person that I wanted to target and I'd already saved people like him as a lead. I could click on related leads and I could see what else they're working on, because maybe Joe hasn't updated his LinkedIn, but maybe somebody else had. So now I can see what they're posting, what they're interested in. So now when I do call on Joe and say, hey, Joe, I noticed that 3 of your peers in Milwaukee that are also in the financial services space are posting about Gibbity-gook. Well, are you?
That's an
Is
important
that
topic,
a
by the way.
challenge for you as well? It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is
Gibberly
that they're
Goop is really,
posting
in
on.
Milwaukee, it's even bigger.
It could be. That's right. So
Particularly after about the
again,
third or fourth beer there, which is a whole nother thing.
yeah, especially if you dipped your cheese curds in it. That's right, Terry.
There you
Yep.
go.
Yeah, but so this is Sales Navigator. Sales Navigator is often for the larger type, more complex sales. If you just talk to one person, if you're just going to an association, if you're just talking to a small business owner, Sales Navigator may or may not be useful. But I can tell you, if you go into, step that up even a little bit, or, any organization with a few people that are on LinkedIn, but maybe you're not connected to any of them, this allows you to go out and do research that you can't do anywhere else. I mean, Sales Navigator allows you basically to build exactly what you need for a lead so that it then pops things back. So I purposely cleaned mine out today,
Hmm.
but it still says, Phil, here's the things you've searched before. Here's the people who you viewed before. So now if I click on this group here, if I look at spin planners, now it says, here are the people that might be making decisions in this organization, these lead recommendations. So now this is pretty cool. So these are the folks that I would like to save as leads. So if I just click on save as lead, now if I go back to the home screen, this will come up in just a minute here. And now look at that. I just literally saved it. And now I can see that 4 days ago, which I wouldn't have known otherwise because Linda and I are not connected. Now I can see 4 days ago, she had a job change.
How about that? That is really good so that if you get on the phone then to call Linda or you're sending her an email, you're cognizant of that job change that took place recently. That's important in her life. And now you can be aware of that, which helps to put you above someone else who might not have Navigator and wouldn't know about that.
That's right. That's right.
And
Now,
it's all the
again,
little things. Excellent. Well, Phil,
yeah,
this is really good information. And I know we could go on for a few more hours, but we won't have time for that right now. But I know that you have done a lot. And as we might just kind of break out of here and stop sharing screen, tell people how they could get in touch with you. I know you help a lot of people in navigating through this, and you even offer like one-on-one coaching or one-to-group coaching, help people on that, and some courses I think you have. How do we get in touch with you if we want to find out more about LinkedIn and more about what you offer?
sure. So the easiest way, if you just want free coaching, a little bit of free help, is connect to me on LinkedIn. I'm always sharing stuff there. It's Gerbyshak. If you're looking to go a little deeper than that, if you're like, oh crap, there's all these changes, and I know there's a lot of changes every single month on LinkedIn, and I can tell you there are changes every single month. I've got a membership site, linkedintoSalesTraining.com. That's linked into salestraining.com, where for less than $1 a day, you can get connected and get all the updates, private Facebook group. You can ask questions. Or if you want one-on-one coaching, Again, you can connect to me on LinkedIn or you can email me. It's phil@philgerbyshak.com. That's PhilGerbyshak.com. Let's talk about whether or not you're fit, because I'm not perfect for everybody. I know that's true. So send me an email and let's talk and see if we can work out a coaching package for you.
Sounds good. Well, Phil, you're a wealth of information, and I appreciate the way that you take the technology and then combine that with tried and true, time-honored principles of connecting with people. And for those of you watching, I can tell you, I know Phil, the personal friend, he really gives and gives a lot to help people. So if you get to know this man, you will be better off in your business and in your personal life too. Phil, any final words before we say goodbye?
The only thing I want to remind folks of is, even though LinkedIn has changed, the principles of connecting to other human beings is still the same. You have to be relevant. It's best to be timely, and it's even more important to be interested in them before they get interested in you.
I like it. That's the whole key. Be interested in them before they're going to be interested in you. Give, and give sincere, real value. I find as we keep doing that, we find that the returns come back, not always in direct relationship to where we put it, but we find that our commerce, that relationship commerce, relationship marketing, really pays off a lot. Well, Phil, thanks so much for being with us today. And I'm Terry Brock. Thank you for being with me. I'm available over at terrybrock.com, and that's Terry, and Brock is spelled the right way, Brock. So that's Terry at terrybrock.com for email, and I'll look forward to hearing from you. Thanks so much for joining us here on Facebook as we talked about LinkedIn using Blue Jeans today. Hey, we just mix that technology up and have a lot of fun. Thanks for being with us today. Bye now.